In part 1, I brought home my free boat and vacuumed up a ton of rat poop. If you haven't seen that, you should. It's oddly satisfying. Then I covered up for storage, which was supposed to be for a few months, but here we are, 2 years later. Making sure I had a good engine was always number one on the list. If the engine's no good, this would definitely be a deal stopper. If this Bayliner didn't have the big OMC Cobra 5-liter high-output engine, I don't think I would have taken the boat at all. From what I know though, the engine had really low hours, and when it was parked 10 years ago it ran fine. First thing, I want to make sure the engine isn't seized. The oil looks good, but I'm going to change it anyway. This is a cool thing about boat engines. The dipstick tube is threaded, so you can hook up a standard garden hose fitting, so you can suck up the oil out of the engine rather than draining it at the bottom and making a mess. I made an adapter to connect it to my fluid extractor. While that's going on, I'm going to change the fuel filter and the oil filter. It looks like it leaves just a tiny bit of oil in the pan, but we probably got at least 95% of it. It should take 5.5 quarts plus another half quart or so to fill the oil filter. It looks like it still has the original distributor cap. I can tell it's original because there was some gray paint on it from when they painted the engine at the factory. The rotor looks almost new. The blade's perfectly smooth, no burns, no corrosion. This cap looks brand new too, so this is a good sign because it tells me this engine's probably got really low hours. Fuel in this tank is 10 years old. Surprisingly, it still smells good. I'm going to empty the tank and put new fuel in anyway. Disappointed, but I'm not surprised it's not starting after all these years. A quick way to check if you have a fuel problem is to use carb cleaner. If the engine starts and runs on carb cleaner, you know spark and compression are okay. So now I know I have a fuel problem. I'm going to loosen this fuel line that goes to the carb to make sure the fuel pump's delivering fuel. A lot of fuel should be coming out of that line. The fuel goes from the tank to the fuel pump to the filter, then to the carb. The filter's new, so we know it's not clogged. The fuel lines from the fuel tank to the carb are all pretty large, so it's not likely any of them are clogged. It's got to be a bad fuel pump. I learned a few things about these fuel pumps. This engine has a mechanical pump. On land machines, I'd normally replace a bad mechanical pump with an electric pump. But on a boat, it's a little more complicated than just hooking up a 12-volt pump to the ignition for safety reasons. On a car, truck, or piece of equipment, the engine bay is pretty open to the atmosphere. Air can flow freely through the front grille or underneath the engine compartment. This prevents fuel vapors from building up and becoming an explosion hazard. Boat engine compartments are mostly enclosed with little ventilation. Explosions in boats are common, so common that there are lots of regulations on engine parts. For instance, you have to use marine-rated starters and alternators. The marine-rated versions of these parts are made to reduce the risk of igniting fuel vapors. Fuel pumps are also regulated. If you convert to an electric pump, you have to run the pump through an oil pressure switch, so if the engine turns off, the oil pressure drops and that shuts off the fuel pump. A mechanical pump already has this feature built in because the pump runs by moving this lever up and down. The lever is moved by a lobe attached to the engine's camshaft. So if the engine stops running, the camshaft stops turning and the pump stops pumping. There are even differences in these mechanical pumps for cars and boats. Pumps for boats have a fitting for this clear hose that runs from the pump to the throttle body. The hose has to be clear hose so you can see if there's fuel inside. If the diaphragm inside the pump has a leak, that leaking fuel will come out of this hose. It'll travel up that hose and into the throttle body where it's safely burned in the engine instead of spilling out into the engine compartment. In my case, I didn't see fuel in the hose, and when I pumped the lever, I didn't feel any suction or pressure from the inlet and outlet ports. It probably had bad check valves. I didn't want to go through the hassle of wiring up an electric pump and plumbing in an oil pressure switch, so I just replaced the mechanical pump. It was a real relief to hear that engine run. There was one more issue I had to address on the engine. I did see a little fuel leaking from the carb. After watching all those boat explosion videos, I definitely want to take care of any fuel leaks. This is where the fuel was leaking. I could have just sealed the leak here, but I got a complete carb kit so I could take apart the whole carb, clean everything, and replace all the seals. I've never taken apart a carb this big. I don't think I would have been able to do this if I didn't have a lot of experience with smaller carbs. When reassembling, it really helps to know how the pieces work and what they do. During reassembly, there's so many opportunities for things to go wrong. You gotta remember where everything goes, what orientation, how deep to insert things, how far to tighten things. Well, since this project is a go, there will definitely be future videos as I start the actual restoration. Please subscribe and set notifications so you'll know when I post the next video.